they can truly thrive, like Marta.
And now we'll hear from our class valedictorian, who with our hard work never ceases to amaze us. Please welcome Marta Moreno.
And Alex.
Hey, Alex, how did the interview go?
I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
I knew it. Let's meet up later to celebrate.
And Diego.
Mom! I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow. feedingamerica.org/actnow. A public service announcement brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
One smile is great, but one smile in a community of smiles is so much better. A smile has a secret power that most people don't know about. A smile multiplies. It spreads from one person to the next, stretching across entire groups of people. Smile Train knows this and is proud to be creating a wave of smiles across the cleft lip and palate community in over 70 countries. Patients, doctors, advocates, fundraisers. Collectively, our smiles are a celebration of the transformed lives of over 1.5 million children. Learn how Smile Train is helping the cleft lip and palate community at smiletrain.org/learn. Smile Train, changing the world one smile at a time.
Stop touching that snooze button and get ready to clock in with the best morning show on the planet.
It's okay when we're singing, we're dancing, we're playing on the field, making everybody else laugh, making everybody else millions of dollars, but as soon as we have a voice, we're punished for it.
Giving you an informative dialogue with a side of fun and laughter while cutting through the noise and bringing you the real stories behind the headlines.
Look, it takes 5 minutes. Notice I'm not getting into details about what goes on in Switzerland, but those that know, you know what I'm talking about.
Get a little. And then
do it again. Do it again.
A little.
That's it.
You know what it is, Truth Nation. It's time to wake up with Milwaukee's favorite morning show.
My point is, if you're 40 or if you're still trying to push for something, it doesn't mean that it's over just because it's been delayed. Delayed doesn't mean denied.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, this is Truth Be Told with DT and Telly on 101.7 The Truth app, and streaming on YouTube.
You gotta love black folks. We gonna make a way out. What you mean, man? All you gotta do is get I got to put a little all in it. Go get the Robitussin so we can get this car fixed.
Here are your hosts, the effective communication coach, Denise Thomas, and two-time Emmy Award winner, Telly Hughes.
Would you do for me? If you do for me, I will do for you. If you do for me, I will do for you.
Well, excuse me, let me let you know the time on how I feel and what's on my mind. It's you that I wanna be in my life, and if it's possible, you will be my wife. I'll lead you in the right direction, of course. Never play you out, so there's no loss. I'll be your love daddy, just wait and see that me and you, we were meant to be. Treat you like a queen, cook and clean. Get your bubble bath ready so I can rub you with Noxine. And watch how gentle I'll be when I rub your back. And after that, there's dinner and cognac. A little romance for the quiet storm. And a lot of loving for the whole night long. I'm gonna caress your body and give you a kiss. And rub you down where you've been missed. Nibble on your navel and kiss your thigh. Play with your hair, cause I'm on a love high. Well, I don't know, it's the way that I am. Introduce me to your mother and I'll say hello, ma'am. Well, I don't know, it's the way I was brought up. Respect my female and never get caught up in another affair. And I believe the same, and if you try to be slick, then the doors will open. Yeah. You know, sweetheart, I told you once, and I don't feel I have to tell you anymore. It's you that I want, and it's you that I'll do for. Since we both know what we want, let's get it together and fly like two birds up a feather. Cause I'ma protect me and look out for my feelings, and that's why I always try to be loyal and gentle, laying left. Observe the females in case I must sleep camp. And if I have to break out, you don't deserve to live the good life and love the black hummingbird. It may be sexy, but it is true. If you try to dog me, then I'ma dog you. But if you treat me right, then I'll treat you with open arms and a rose just to greet you. Love you dearly, respect and care for you, my dear. So how could you ignore the way I feel is real from the start? So I stopped playing games and mastered the art.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. You are listening to the best morning show on planet Earth. It's Monday.
Monday.
Good morning, Telly.
Good morning. Good morning. Fresh week, fresh week.
Fresh week, fresh week. It's Monday. And you know what? I'm good with today being Monday because here in Milwaukee, the weather, what?
Didn't I warn you before on Friday? I said this weekend was going to be off the chain. And weather-wise, yeah. I missed most of it, but
I landed yesterday here, probably around 11 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, okay, Milwaukee. I mean, seriously, it was just a beautiful day.
Yes.
And shout out to the Signature Dance Company. I emceed their 20th anniversary yesterday, and it was a great event.
Nice.
And my understanding is that today, the weather will continue to be nice, like 80s. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's supposed to be 80, and yeah, I got plans. I knew it was going to be 80.
I wonder what they're going to be. Choice number 1, football. Choice number 2, pickleball. Choice number 3, golf.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, I think we all pretty much know, Telly, what you are about to do in terms of this beautiful weather. So I'm here for it.
Yeah. No, I got to take advantage of it because we know, once again, like I said on Friday, once it goes down, it's going down.
It's going down.
Yeah, this will be the last 80-degree day in 2024.
For you. See,
Yeah.
DT lives in a city called Dallas. For you. But for me, when I get off that plane,
It's going to be the same thing.
the stars at night are big and bright. Deep in the heart of Texas. It will not be 30 degrees. I can tell you that.
No.
All right, y'all. We're going to get your week started off. Hopefully on a good note. And again, hope you had a great weekend. Thank you for tuning in. There's a lot going on. Now, here's what we're not going to do today, because we love y'all so much and we want to make sure that we maximize these 2 hours with you. We're not going to talk about all the celebrities that have been endorsing both Madam Vice President Kamala Harris as well as former President Donald Trump. We all are on social media for the most part, to some degree. And right now, no matter who you are, you're either receiving text messages, phone calls, unsolicited, by the way, or you're seeing stories where what's the I was going to say an inappropriate description.
Uh-oh.
What's the brother, Antonio Brown? See, I said brother, y'all. That campaign for former President Donald Trump?
Man, come on, man. When I saw that, I was just like, I always, DT, I don't look at what everyone else see. I just try to think of, how did we get here? Like, what was that call like? Or did the Trump people like, you know what? Who would be somebody really good to, speak highly on me? Like, how did they even hook up? Did Antonio say, hey, I used to play for the Steelers, you in Pennsylvania, let me come speak on your behalf? Who thought that was a good idea?
Well, here's what, and again, I have no access or intel to the decision makers of Trump's campaign. But when you look at the numbers, okay, for me, former President Donald Trump is obviously leveraging this area of focus between Madam Vice President Kamala Harris and black male voters. So for him, I'm going to continue to appeal to black men as best as I can. Former President Donald Trump's campaign. I don't speak on behalf of all black folks, but ain't too many professional athletes that we celebrate that run across a football field while taking off their football jersey. I can't think of any. Like, I don't recall Antonio Brown doing that, and black people were like, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the narrative I heard was, he done lost his mind.
Put it to you this way. There aren't too many black people that are saying, God dog it, they got Antonio too. It's like, you know what? Yeah, that's fine. That's what you want to go do.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And then, so I don't know if you recall, but over the weekend, former President Donald Trump closed down a McDonald's in Pennsylvania. This just happened over the weekend.
His favorite place.
Where all the healthy food.
Oh, man.
So former President Donald Trump over the weekend closed down a McDonald's and worked for a day. And do you know what position he was on during his time working at McDonald's? Just take a guess.
Well, if they knew any better, they shouldn't have had him on the cash register. But
you know what? You ain't right.
they probably had him on the cash register.
So the name of the town is Feasterville. Feasterville, and I believe that's, and I'm looking, I want to say that's in Pennsylvania, but let me fact check. Can we fact check where Feasterville? So Donald Trump yesterday worked the drive-thru at McDonald's located on Street Road in Feasterville. So if you are a regular at this McDonald's, when you drove up, there was a sign that said, although we don't support any particular political party, we will be closed today to the general public as former President Donald Trump will be here. And he put on the apron and he started off learning how to make fries, which I don't know about y'all, but McDonald's fries is nothing to play with, okay? Because when I go to McDonald's, I'm very, very serious about my fry order. I'll be like, when's the last time y'all changed the grease? Keep it real with me. Did y'all put enough salt on there? Did y'all put too much salt on there?
Yeah.
Are they golden?
Do
they look
too
like
much salt?
Right?
Yeah.
Do they look like the fries in the commercial? Because if they don't, I don't want no parts of them. So yeah, they put former President Donald Trump on fries. You could see him wearing an apron, and he also greeted drive-through customers as they came in. I mean, you could tell it was very staged because, like,
I was about to say, you closed it, but he's working.
They had people ready because every person that drove up, oh my gosh, hi,
Yeah,
really,
right,
really, oh my gosh, don't Trump! Come on, man. So yeah, I knew at that point it was staged, but hey, at this point, it's crunch time. So former President Donald Trump, he's going to do things that, again, somebody told him, if you want to appeal to the middle class, go work at McDonald's.
Do this. Yeah, for a day, a stage. Like, come on, man. And you're not working. Like, you're just appearing. Just say that. I'm appearing at McDonald's.
Someone asked former President Trump after he accused Madam Vice President Harris that she never worked at McDonald's. Because, oftentimes Madam Vice President will say, I come from a middle class family.
Right, I worked at
McDonald's.
Right.
And former President Donald Trump said, because she's lying, Kamala, that's why. But let's not talk about that. It's an amazing business, talking about McDonald's. It's an amazing country, and we're going to make America greater than ever before.
So you're just going to discredit and call her a liar for what she actually has done growing up. You didn't have to work at a McDonald's growing up, so you decide to do it for a day while you're running for president.
Exactly. And that's what I thought. Feasterville, thank you, DJ Ricky, is in Feasterville, or excuse me, in Pennsylvania. So Feasterville, Pennsylvania, which that makes sense because former President Donald Trump was campaigning there. When we come back, dear black people, this is going to be a show today where we start talking about some of these elephants in the room based on some stories that have been recently released. Also, it was Madam Vice President Kamala Harris's 60th birthday yesterday, and she celebrated throughout campaigning and rallies in the state of Georgia. We're going to talk about that because when I tell you, we showed up and we showed out for Madam Vice President yesterday in Georgia, as well as a conservative radio talk show host, black man, talks about why black men who are supporting Madam Vice President Kamala Harris or could be supporting former President Donald Trump are either house or field. You know what I'm talking about. Stay locked in.
Wow.
We're going to get more into this. You're listening to the best morning show on planet Earth, Truth Be Told with DT and Telly on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
Don't touch that dial. Truth Be Told with DT and Telly will be right back on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
November 5th, 2024 will prove to be the most consequential election in U.S. history. Join me on Monday, October 21st, as I have the exclusive interview with Democratic Minority Leader in the House of Representatives, Hakeem Jeffries. We'll talk policy, we'll talk the presidential race, we'll also talk about the history-making endeavor it will be to have the first African-American Speaker of the House of Representatives. Don't miss my exclusive interview with Democratic Minority Leader in the House of Representatives, Hakeem Jeffries, on Monday, October 21st, only on 1017 The Truth.
Republican Senate candidate Eric Hovde showed up to the Milwaukee Juneteenth Festival. He said he was having a good time.
I'm here having fun. This is one heck of a party.
But then Eric Hovde was asked if there was anything he was going to take away about black culture. Hovde's answer?
Look, I've spent a lot of time in black culture. I've spent a lot of time in places like Africa because I have homeless shelters.
Run that back for me? Eric Hovde is asked about black culture, and the first thing that comes to mind is taking trips to Africa and homeless shelters? Hovde's comments were called, quote, ignorant, and they reek of stereotype and white paternalism. But when Eric Hovde was asked about the criticism, he said, do I have to respond to the stupidity of that question? Eric Hovde.
I've spent a lot of time in places like Africa.
What's wrong with this guy?
I'm Tammy Baldwin, running for Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Tammy Baldwin for Senate.
The Greater Milwaukee Urban League Ball is sold out, but you can still join in the fun and support the work of the Urban League. Participate in a special online silent auction of great prizes and experiences. Auction items include a night at Milwaukee St. Kate Hotel, an autographed Packers football, baseball, hockey, and soccer tickets, and a special evening at Lake Park Bistro. Go to the Urban League's website and click on the black and white ball tab. Visit tmul.org. Let the bidding begin.
Life's better with American Family Insurance. Because whether it's a family road trip in your dream car or hosting a family reunion in your dream home, we help you feel protected so you can enjoy those dreams with peace of mind. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
You are listening to Truth Be Told with DT and Telly on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
What's up, Truth Nation. It is Monday, October 21st. Telly?
You be doing it too now. You always put it on me. Be like, oh, if y'all can hear what Telly be talking about during the break. No, if they can hear what you talk about too.
Anywho. Madam Vice President Kamala Harris celebrated a milestone birthday yesterday as she was campaigning multiple rallies, multiple campaign efforts in the state of Georgia yesterday, where she also, while former President Donald Trump was handing out French fries in Feasterville, Pennsylvania, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris was visiting a number of landmark events, I should say, and including a lot of churches, most notably New Life Church, which is pastored by Jamal Bryant, a very well-known mega church pastor. And, you know, a lot of folks were like, how come she didn't spend a lot of time at Ebenezer? Or how come she didn't spend a lot of time at this church? Well, Jamal Bryant's church, New Life Birth Church, which is a very New Birth Missionary Baptist Church. Let me get the name right. New Birth Missionary Baptist Church, which is based in the Atlanta metropolitan area. I don't know if you knew this, Telly, but there is a 7,500 seat capacity in that church.
I did not know that.
Okay. And 10,000 people. Let me say that it's got a 75. I don't want the fire department being like, It's got a 7,500 seat capacity.
Right.
So people that can sit down, but there is obviously enough space.
Yeah, they always have an overflow.
So it was 10,000 people in this one church. Another interesting fact about New Birth Missionary Baptist Church, which is in the Atlanta metro area, is that this church has the highest in the entire state of Georgia, the highest number of voter registration. So their ministry has included helping, supporting, and bringing more awareness to the power of voting. Of course, Madam Vice President's going to be at that church.
Yeah, for sure.
All day long.
Yes.
All day long.
Shoot, Trump will be there if they allowed him. Like, for real. Like, you have that many potential voters, and some of which, I mean, probably half of the congregation has already voted during the early voting in Georgia, which started last week and will start in Wisconsin tomorrow. But yeah, I think that is so smart for you to go and do that and appeal to them, because that's just 10,000 that day. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you constantly doing that and putting yourself in positions where you are surrounded by people that are going to vote and not just people that's going to cheer you on from the sideline, it's very smart.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, Telly, because traditionally the Democratic Party has had a significant reliance on this term. I don't know if you've ever heard it before, but the term "souls to the polls."
Yeah.
Which references people running for office focusing on the black church because of the integral role that the black church traditionally has in terms of getting voters to cast ballots in the election. So people of faith, black Christians, black churchgoers, however you want to classify it, have been identified by the Harris campaign as crucial, even in the 2024 presidential election. And so traditionally, black voters, we've talked about this, we know this, have overwhelmingly supported Democrats in most presidential elections, especially during the civil rights movement. President Joe Biden received 90% of the black vote in 2020 during his White House win over Trump. 90%.
Wow.
Now, Madam Vice President Harris, she's underperforming with black voters. See, this is where it gets so interesting. She's underperforming with black voters nationwide, and especially the state of Georgia. Because when you look at President Barack Obama, former President Barack Obama received 95% of the black vote. And I would tell you this, Papa T, my dad, he was like a lot of people. I'm voting for him because he's black. Because I'd be like, I don't know him. I don't know a lot of information about this U.S. senator. My dad, shoot, I'm going to go up here to this poll and vote for him. Think about that. 95% of black people voted for President Barack Obama. 90% of black people voted for President Biden. But now, in 2024, where you've got a black woman who could be the first to serve as commander-in-chief of the United States of America, is concerned about the black vote. Please help me understand that.
Yeah, that is so interesting. And I mean, when you just said 90% of the black vote went to President Joe Biden, that just blew my mind, because how in the world that you get 90% of the black vote to vote for President Biden at a time where, I mean, let's just be real. It could have been anybody. I could have ran for president in 2020 and probably won, just because everybody wanted anyone but Trump in that office at that particular time. And so you now in 2024 have a black woman that is struggling with the black vote, and it's the same opponent. That's the thing that's crazy. Like, if it was a different opponent, you'd be like, all right, well, you know, like black people feel like they have choices now. Mm-hmm. But you got the same person that you were trying to run out of the White House at the end of his 4 years, trying to get back in, and he has, and it's a struggle.
These are the questions that I have been asking myself over and over and over again, because here's the thing. And when we come back from break, we'll get more into Madam Vice President's campaigning yesterday in Georgia, as well as the outpouring of love that she received, where 10,000 members of New Birth Life Missionary Baptist Church celebrated her. But here's where it gets interesting for me. President Joe Biden, he's either going to do one of two things after this election. Either A, I told y'all, or B, you're welcome. Either way, he's going out like a hero. Because what he can say, no matter what, Telly, which is what I'm sure, this is just me, I'm sure had a major part in persuading him or convincing him to step out of the 2024 presidential race, is that regardless, you won't lose. You won't ever have to say you got beaten by former President Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. No politician who has had a career in government, in legislation, in politics, wants to go out based on being defeated by former President Donald Trump, who is known as a personality, a reality show celebrity,
a convicted felon.
Nobody, like, I think you brought up a great analogy last week. It's like being Kobe Bryant. And, you know, actually, what year was that where the Dream Team, not the Dream Team, but the Los Angeles Lakers had like Gary Payton, Rick Fox, Shaquille O'Neal, Karl Malone. They had all, and they wondered why they didn't win. Well, because there was, of course, egos got in the way. But it's like, when you're here, and if you want to stream and watch Telly and I live on YouTube, do that now. I got my arm up. When you're here at this level, high level, and somebody comes in out of nowhere and has made none of the accomplishments, none of the dedication, none of the diligence, doesn't have the formal education, just didn't go through the process. Mm-hmm. No, this is the analogy you gave, so thank you, God, for reminding me. This is what you said. It was such a great analogy. People like you and I who have trained in public speaking, whether it's journalism, whether like we have trained from a very young age, competed professionally, competed as part of school, and then you have somebody who does 60-second TikTok videos and they say, we're going to give them a talk show. Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's what happens.
That's what it feels like when you are a politician like Madam Vice President or President Biden or Madam Secretary Hillary Clinton, and you get beat by somebody like former President Donald Trump. Yeah. That's what it feels like. So that's why Joe Biden's like, either way, I'm winning.
Yeah.
Because it's either going to be, I told y'all, or You're welcome. But either way, I didn't get beat by Donald Trump. That's. Can you imagine?
That's gonna be tough.
Getting beat by a 60-second TikToker.
Even having this race this tight is because, just think about how he was like dogging President Biden on his age, and he's only 4 years younger than him. And so now, who looks like the senile old guy on this, in this presidential election? He's 77, 78, but yeah, I know we got to get to break, but yeah.
No, I hear you.
Yeah.
Now, before we go to break, we do want to recognize this is Milwaukee Black Talk Radio, and we do have a black presidential candidate. So regardless of however you feel, she turned 60 years old yesterday. Madam Vice President had a monumental milestone birthday, 60 years old. And she looks good.
Yes.
I mean, that means if she wins the election and is reelected, she'll only be 68 years old.
Yeah.
We're going to pray that she doesn't look like she's 80. Because, man, when President Obama...
They age, man. Every year is like 4 years in that office is what they say.
4?
So
look how black President Obama's hair was. And then,
oh, man. When you come out, yeah.
You know who did not age gracefully? President Bush, baby Bush. If you look at him, oh, my goodness. Woo! All right, we're going to play this soundbite. Again, this was a clip from yesterday. Madam Vice President, we're going to take this into our next break. Madam Vice President Kamala Harris attended New Life Missionary Baptist Church yesterday it's a suburb of Atlanta. It's pastored by Pastor Jamal Bryant, who is very well known. And while she was about to speak to the congregation had other things in plan for Madam Vice President. Take a listen to how the congregation responded to Madam Vice President Kamala Harris's speech yesterday.
Reminiscing.
They even did the black version, y'all.
You're right.
I love it. And, if you had a chance to see her face, and I hope that's one of the things that, if Madam Vice President wins this election, and I know some of y'all are like, win. Listen, I believe in manifestation, but for the purpose of being a professional radio talk show host, I can't say win. But ask me after the air, and I'll go into the manifestation. But if Madam Vice President Kamala Harris becomes the 47th president, this is exactly what I hope we continue to do for her, and that's have her back and support her.
Yeah.
Because it's about to go down.
Yeah, because it truly is only half the battle if she is elected. And we talked about that extensively last week, about all the things that will still be in play if she is elected. But first, you got to, of course, if she gets elected, then you worry about the other stuff later. But
y'all,
it's still part of the battle.
We all focused on getting her in.
Yeah.
But when she gets in, are we ready to support her?
Yeah.
Okay?
'Cause she's going to need it.
Because she is not going to have like President Barack Obama had 2 years of a majority Democratic House and Congress. She's walking into, So when we come back, speaking of the election, a black conservative radio host invoked field and house slaves in arguing why some black men back Trump. I can't wait because I know the floodgates of our Truth Talking text line is going to open up. 833-212-1017. Trump supporters, we want to hear from you as well. When we come back, we're going to get into this and more hot topics. You're listening to the best morning show on planet Earth, Truth Be Told with DT and Telly.
Don't touch that dial. Truth Be Told with DT and Telly will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Are record energy costs putting a squeeze on your fixed or limited incomes? With limited incomes not keeping up with the lingering effects of inflation, you might be one of tens of thousands of Wisconsin residents who are struggling to survive in the blistering heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter. While you haven't asked for it, the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy assistance providers are here to help. No Wisconsin resident should ever have to face the challenge of living without heat or power or face homelessness. For a hand up, apply today and call 1-800-506-5596. That's 800-506-5596. Or visit www.kwwf.org.
This is your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute.
People will tell you that race is a social construct and that there's no biological reality that distinguishes between a white individual and a black individual. So what does that mean if there are these quote-unquote disparities, right? It means that the way we move through a society is markedly different, right? And that the experience that we have has biological consequences. Is when you're in a society where people are constantly discriminating against a certain group, denying access, don't have control over the institutions that govern our lives. All of those things create a biological reality and a response, whether it's a stress hormone or a fear or something that could be passed on, what we call epigenetics, which means what my mother or my grandmother experienced had an effect on what formed me in my responses to those stressors. That's how we can be two individual people with very little difference, but have totally, vastly different experiences as we move through our reproductive health.
This has been your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute.
When it comes to accurate, reliable election information for Wisconsin voters, visit the official site. It's myvote.wi.gov. It's the big cheese, you could say. It's your one-stop source for official Wisconsin election information. Find your polling place, see your sample ballot, make sure your registration is up to date, and more at myvote.wi.gov. Sponsored by Wisconsin Elections Commission, aired by Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Right now, more than 100,000 children waiting in foster care need our help. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is focused on finding them safe, permanent homes. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
Join Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation for Marketplace Wisconsin, the Governor's Conference on Diverse Business Development, December 11th and 12th. Register at marketplacewisconsin.com.
Call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
We do still have some delays around the area. We got an accident on the Rock Freeway northbound to 894, northbound in the Hale, so careful with that. Also, we have on 4394 southbound right in the Marquette interchange. We've got the right shoulder blocked with an incident there, too. Looks like there might be a pedestrian up on the roadway. Something to watch as well on 94 southbound, the off-ramp to Ryan Road, an accident there. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, mostly sunny, very warm, breezy, a high of 79. Tonight, partly cloudy, mild with a low of 56. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 101.7 The Truth.
You are listening to Truth Be Told with DT and Telly on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, tune into Jammin' with Juice tomorrow at 12:15 as they will be interviewing Jesse Tolkien of the Drive Agency about their voting initiative with a free concert series. Carrie and Ben will ask why it was so important for them to bring rappers T Grizzly and Cash Doll to Milwaukee on October 29th and encourage people to get out and vote. To grab your free, that's right, free 99 concert tickets, visit ivotedconcerts.org. That is ivotedconcerts with an S.org to get your free tickets to see T Grizzly and Cash Doll in Milwaukee on October 29th.
And Truth Nation, you want to tune in to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes today. at 9:15 a.m. as Sherwin will be joined by Minority Leader of the House, Hakeem Jeffries. And they're going to discuss Madam Vice President Harris's black male agenda and why he is making it a point to campaign in the state of Wisconsin. Again, that is Minority Leader of the House, Hakeem Jeffries, today at 9:15 a.m. on The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Before we get into this story about a black conservative radio host who used the words field and house slaves during an argument. Why
we still doing that?
Why some black men back Trump? I got to remind us before we get into that. And you can stream and watch Telly and I live right now on YouTube. Go to YouTube and just simply search for 101. I got to say 0 because I don't want to say O. 101.7 space the truth. It's Monday. Give it to me like I'm a third grader because I get it. People's brains are still warming up.
Yeah.
And then when you get there, just search for Truth Be Told with DT and Telly, and you can see Telly and I live right now on YouTube. Also, friendly, loving reminder, Truth Nation, tomorrow in the state of Wisconsin is early voting day. That's right. Tomorrow, October 22nd, is early voting day. There is early voting in the state of Wisconsin. So whether you've already decided you're going to vote. You've already made that decision. So if you're debating, do I want to vote early or do I want to vote on election day or during the in-person absentee voting period? Whatever's easiest for you, just make sure that you vote. Now, as far as voting early, in order to find out where you can vote, you can contact your municipal clerk's office, and that's where you could actually vote early tomorrow. All you need is an acceptable photo ID. Now, please visit. You can go to elections.wisconsin.gov. That's the Wisconsin Elections Commission website, also known as WEC. You can visit that website, and again, the address is elections.wi.gov. And you can find out exactly where you can vote early, and that is tomorrow, all day tomorrow. So please make sure that you find out where and how you can vote early. And again, you can either visit the Wisconsin Elections Commission website, you can contact your local clerk office, or you can visit the municipal clerk's office. I would start with the website because there's a number of designated in-person absentee voting locations, and in-person absentee voting includes early voting, which again, what date is it tomorrow? October what?
22nd.
That is early voting day in Wisconsin.
Yes, and do what is going to be the most least chaotic for you. And if you think that it is going to be more of a hassle to vote when everyone else does, and you're wondering if you're going to run into some of the things that we have been talking about, then just go ahead and get it over with and do it early. But if, again, do what is going to be what you feel is the safest and least chaotic thing in order for you to cast your vote.
Really quick, because as you were talking and sharing that encouragement, Telly, it is literally so easy. And I'm not saying that based on what I define as easy. It literally is. Like if you go to myvote.wi.gov and just go to My Voter Info or vote absentee in person, you can enter your address and it will literally tell you, here's where you can go to vote in person absentee, which again is also known as early voting. It will give you the voting site, location, address, as well as the hours of availability. You can also view your clerk's by appointment absentee voting information. And all you have to do is enter your address, your city, and your zip code, and it'll just display where you can go to place your early vote tomorrow. So early voting day in the state of Wisconsin, again, is tomorrow, October 22nd.
Hey, knowledge is power. If you know what you're doing and how to do it, then you shouldn't have any problems getting it done. And DT, I definitely, I don't do this often, but I definitely want to shout out my brothers of Omega Psi Phi over the weekend that were able to get out in the community, knocked on over 400 doors, reached over 700 people to get this information out, to get out and vote and find out the easiest way for you to do so. So shout out to the bros. Gotta say that because, those are the stories and the things that don't get the attention that they should. And again, taking time out to to know the impact and the value it is to get this information out to our community and to take a Saturday morning out of their time to do that, I thought was really cool. And it's all about service. So, again, I definitely want to shine some light on that because.
Please, I love that.
Yes. Because that's potentially 700 more voters that may not have known how to vote or how to get the information, and to receive a knock on your door and to get that information. I think that's really cool. So that's what it's all about, getting the information out.
Yes, knowledge is power, as you mentioned. So shout out to Omega Psi Phi. Now, we're going to play this soundbite. What you're going to hear is a clip from a black conservative. I want to say that again. Black and conservative radio host. Some of you may listen to his show, Shelley Winter. And he's received, let's just say, some attention when he attempted to break down the black male electorate in the United States into House African Americans and field African Americans. Now, dear non-black people, that's a whole nother episode.
Oh,
but when you are referred to either as a house or field black person, it's always going to be some controversy. So let's check this audio out. Then we're going to go to break. We want to get your reactions when we come back from break after hearing this soundbite from Shelley Winter, who's a black conservative radio host. Our Truth Talk and text line is 833-212-1017. Check this out.
This race is between House African Americans and field African Americans. And the field African Americans are going for Donald Trump. I'm talking about your men who build, your men who put things together, your men who work with their hands, your men who do things, not the men who push paper, or the men who are connected to power and want to continue to be connected to power.
Are you denigrating African American men who are professionals who work in white collar jobs? Is that what I'm hearing from you, or
no?
I'm just trying to understand, is Shelley the house woman or the field woman? I'm just trying to understand that part. I'm just trying to understand. We have someone who's spitting. I'm just trying to understand the one that's spitting talking points right now. Are you the house Negro or the field Negro that you're referring to? So I just want to make sure. Your question was about denigrating black people. That literally was your question. You have a Republican fool who is talking right now about. You literally just said that black men.
Wow.
When we come back from break, we want to get reactions from you, Truth Nation, 833-212-1017. Let us know how you feel.
Don't touch that dial. Truth Be Told with DT and Telly will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Truth Nation, the election is less than 3 weeks away, and we are excited for our final The Truth on Politics on Tuesday, October 29th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. This show will break down the 2024 election and discuss whether VP Kamala Harris or former President Donald Trump is the best candidate for our community. Do not miss the last The Truth on Politics on Tuesday, October 29th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. with Dr. Ken Harris, Sherwin Hughes, Tori Lowe, and Jason Fields on the award-winning 1017 The Truth and streaming live on YouTube.
This is Community Heartbeat, presented by Outreach Community Health Centers on 1017 The Truth.
Everybody's welcome at Outreach, and that's one of the things that makes us special. We do offer services based on a sliding fee, so I always recommend that people call in advance to get all of the details, but oftentimes we can see you for as little as $25 for your whole visit, and that gets your vaccines included. Outreach has nurse visits available for anyone who wants to have their vaccines either the same day or you can schedule ahead. For those, you just need to bring in your ID and your insurance card. You can also schedule a visit with your primary care provider. If you don't have one, we have some that are ready and excited to meet you. So all you have to do is give us a call during normal business hours. That's 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, and that's 414-727-6320. Or you can always visit us on the website for more information, and that's www.ochc-milw.org.
UW Credit Union here, celebrating new branches with ribbon-cutting ceremonies. And not just our 13 Milwaukee area branches. We're also including our mobile app, which is like a branch in your pocket, to check accounts, make transfers, and more on the go. So now, branches are opening 24/7, which is great for our members, but hard on our fingies. Oh, cramp. Cramp! UW Credit Union. Local mobile banking made simple. Federally insured by NCUA.
The WIAA football playoffs is here. Tune in this Friday night as the #1 seeded Marquette Hilltoppers begin their quest for back-to-back state championship titles as they host the 8th seeded Milwaukee Marshall Eagles. The football action kicks off at 7 p.m. on 1017 The Truth. Marquette University High School football is presented by Gruber Law Offices and sponsored by Capital Insurance Agency, Magic Productions, Annex Wealth Management, C.G. Schmidt, Left's Lucky Town, Boyle Frederickson Intellectual Property Law, and Marquette University High School.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that American Family Insurance agents can help build a customized renter's policy so you can protect stuff like this, or this, or even this. Well, case in point. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
You are listening to Truth Be Told with DT and Telly on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Get up and
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Truth Nation, you are listening to the best morning show on planet Earth, Truth Be Told with DT and Telly. Before break, we played a soundbite from a black conservative radio host by the name of Shelley Winter. So Shelley Winter is a black man, has a conservative black talk radio show that is based in Atlanta. It's called The Shelley Winter Show. And Shelley, like a number of black talk radio hosts or co-hosts, because as we know, our very own Sherwin, he's appeared and been invited to appear on CNN multiple times based on his expertise and very interesting perspectives on political issues. And so Mr. Winter appeared on CNN News Central and was basically there to discuss whether black people will turn out to vote for the Democratic presidential nominee, as we had reported earlier, Telly, that over the past 3 elections, maybe 2 elections, starting with former President Barack Obama, 95% of black voters turned out and voted for President Obama. 90% of black voters turned out and voted for President Biden. Now here we are with another black candidate who happens to be a woman. And so the question is, are black people going to turn out to vote for this Democratic presidential nominee as they have in the past, or vote Republican in larger numbers? Now check this audio out. We're going to go to our caller. Brian, thank you for holding. We're going to take your call as soon as we hear this clip. We want to get your reaction, Truth Nation. 833-212-1017 is our Truth Talk and text line. Check this out.
Now and then, here's what he said.
This race is between House African Americans and field African Americans. And the field African Americans are going for Donald Trump. I'm talking about your men who build, your men who put things together, your men who work with their hands, your men who do things, not the men who push paper, or the men who are connected to power and want to continue to be connected to power.
Are you denigrating African American men who are professionals who work in white collar jobs? Is that what I'm hearing from you, or
no?
I'm just trying to understand, is Shelley the House one or the field woman? I'm just trying to understand that part. I'm just trying to understand. We have someone who's spitting. I'm just trying to understand the one that's spitting talking points right now. Are you the House Negro or the field Negro that you're referring to? So I just want to make sure. Your question was about denigrating black people. That literally was your question. You have a Republican fool who is talking right now about. You literally just said that black men.
Okay, now before we hear from Brian, in all fairness, because I know we didn't hear a lot of what Mr. Winter had to say, but this is a quote from Mr. Winter during the same interview. He says, "Let me boil this election down in the African American community to a very simple." And he goes on to say, "I'll reference the great Malcolm X." And this is a quote from Mr. Winter, who you just heard. He says, "This race is between House African Americans and field African Americans, and field African Americans are voting for Donald Trump." Truth Nation, do you agree or disagree? Good morning, Brian. Thank you for your patience. You are live with DT and Telly. What is your question or comment?
Oh, I agree. And before I get into my explanation why I agree, the problem is the reason things always get skewed between black populations, between themselves, is you have the House Negroes always trying to mute the field Negro. It's just like when I was on YouTube, Mr. House Negro, your teammate at 9 o'clock, eliminated me from the chat. The liberals always try to shoot down very, very salient points that black Republicans and black conservatives and black independents try to get across to the public of what the situation is, what the reality of situations are in the black community, what your day-to-day lives are, how your day-to-day lives benefit. When a field Negro tries to explain, or let's call a field Negro somebody like a Tory Lowe, who's proven to do good things in a community. When he tries to explain what actually goes on in black society, the House Negro wants to shut him down and mute it down and play to his masters that fund his or her a career, the pencil pushers. Of course, the pencil-pushing liberal people that have certain positions because they compromise themselves just to get those high-paying jobs, they're going to follow what their benefactors tell them to do.
Brian, thank you so much. We appreciate you sharing your perspective. Now, before we go into this, and Black Conscious, we see you. Let me add some context. So what you heard was Shelley Winter, who is a black conservative radio host. He is the host of the Shelley Winter Show that is broadcasted in the Atlanta area. Okay, now what you heard was he was featured as a guest on CNN News Central, which is hosted by Sarah Sidner. Now, the brother that you heard was a guest, and his name is Michael Blake. He's a former advisor to Barack Obama. So that's what you heard in the exchange of the sound clip. Now, when we come back, we're going to get into our callers. We see you. Thank you for your patience. Dear non-black people that are listening, let me just break this down really quick. During enslavement in the U.S., house slaves were known as those who worked in the main house or the slave master's house, and generally performed indoor tasks. The field slaves worked what is known as the hard labor on the land and lived in decimated quarters. So that's the difference. So when you hear in today's current term society, you'll hear it a lot of times people refer to, like this brother did, if you voting for Trump, then from his perspective, you're a field Negro.
Yeah. And if you're wondering why we're still talking about that, some black people still wondering why we're still referring to field and house Negroes as well. But right now, Truth Nation is your chance to be our one call. That's all Gruber 5K giveaway entry for the day. Yes, you could be entered to win $5,000 courtesy of Gruber Law Offices. Be caller number 7 right now at 833-212-1017, and you will be entered in to win the $5,000 giveaway with the award-winning 1017 The Truth and Gruber Law Offices. Again, that is caller number 7 at 833-212-1017. Remember, if you or a loved one has been injured in an accident, contact Gruber Law Offices today. Visit them at gruber-law.com. For official contest rules, visit 1017thetruth.com.
All right, when we come back for break, Black Conscious, the caller, we're coming right to you after this break. So please stay locked in. Truth Nation, again, we want to hear from you. If you're, according to Shelley Winter, if you're voting for Kamala Harris, you're a house Negro. If you're voting for former President Donald Trump, you're a field Negro. We want to get your reactions. Stay locked in. This is the best morning show on planet Earth. Truth Be Told with DT and Telly on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
Truth Nation, let us talk our ish for a moment. There is no other station in the country where you get a front row seat to hear from some of the biggest names in politics, pop culture, and sports. People like Vice President Kamala Harris.
Talk with your listeners to remind them of their power and the importance of voting. And the folks in Milwaukee turned out for me and Joe Biden in 2020. You showed what was possible.
U.S. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, are you a racist?
Absolutely not.
Is Donald Trump a racist?
Absolutely not. No.
And civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump.
Thank you all for speaking truth to power. That's the most important thing, because right now there are those in our community who would rather we just be quiet.
Right.
We have to disturb the peace now more than ever.
Tap into the award-winning and nationally recognized 1017 The Truth by downloading the Truth app and streaming us live at 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Milwaukee Black Talk.
Calling all big thinkers. The world's climate is changing. These aren't new facts, but it means we must think in new ways about how we can live, prosper, and provide energy for our world while protecting our planet. Engineers are answering the call to create cleaner, safer, reliable energy. Solar power, harnessing the power of the sun to light all corners of the globe. Wind power, channeling a simple breeze to bring electricity to our homes. Hydropower, using the natural flow of water to generate electricity. Nuclear power, engineering advanced reactors that are safer, more reliable, and produce zero carbon emissions. Engineers are leading the way and empowering the next generation. Engineers answer the call. Brought to you by the National Academy of Engineering. Learn more at nae.edu.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with Associated Bank. Your money works here. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee. A locally owned Good Karma brand station. You are listening to Truth Be Told with DT and Telly on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
All right, Truth Nation, let's just get right into this. It is the top of the second hour. You're listening to Truth Be Told with DT and Telly. Happy Monday, October 21st, 8:01 Central Standard Time. According to Shelley Winter, a black conservative talk radio host, if you at this point are going to vote for Madam Vice President Kamala Harris to be the next president, you're a house Negro. And if you are considering or plan to vote for former President Donald Trump, you are a field Negro. Black Conscious, thank you so much for your patience. Good morning. Good morning. You're live with DT and Telly. What is your question or comment?
I'm blacker than black because I'm black, y'all. Can we just vote in peace? Why do we got to go through all this? I guess he's one of those bucks that got broken, huh? And now he's just out to tell the world what we call today as a ditty. But anyways, I mean, I knew there was something strange in the air when I saw full moon for 2 days in a row, and now here come all the crazies.
So, Black Conscious, really, do you agree or do you disagree? Because I feel like you disagree.
I disagree.
Why?
I totally disagree.
Why do you disagree?
Because why do we have to resort to name calling? Who you choose to vote for, and the reasons you choose is yours. It ain't got nothing to do with any of that. I mean, if he has an issue with certain things, then speak on that. But when we get down to name calling, take that mic, take his platform. He don't deserve it because it's disrespectful.
Well, that's what the brother that was on the show, he agrees with you. He's saying that these are the types of comments that oftentimes occur behind closed doors within the black community, and now that we're putting it out there in the public.
Well, you know, Donald Trump has gotten them a little courage to say these things out loud now.
Who is them?
The flip side of that.
Who is them when you say Donald Trump has gotten...
Anybody that opposes of anything that's righteousness.
Okay.
It could be black, it could be white, it could be Asian, it could be the following.
Well, Black Conscious, thank you so much. We appreciate you as always. We got, our Truth Talking text line is on fire. 833-212-1017. The caller, thank you for your patience as well. Do you agree or disagree? You're live with DT and Telly.
Well, I think as many times as you and I and Telly have spoken, you know that in my opinion, you all definitely don't identify as slaves at all. And so that's why the two people who were talking to the person that was called the fool, and I listened to the whole interview, continue to check him for even referring to us as that. And anyone who calls in, who on your show, for example, who promotes slavery for us in 2024, when we are about to elect our second African-American president, I think they have bought into the secessionist movement that Donald Trump has put forth. And so with that said, it's just really amazing that anybody who listens to talk radio, all you guys, or to 101.7, all you guys have impact on our community. And none of them, when they talk about results, will mention the name of our most qualified politician in Wisconsin, who is a Democrat, and that's Lena Taylor, who is very similar in many ways to Vice President Harris, and who will make a fine judge. So anybody who supports voter suppression probably does agree with Mr. Winters, and I think anybody whose name rhymes with lying will call and lie, and those are the things that Sherwin shuts down on a daily basis.
Well, thank you so much, the caller. We appreciate your...
Sorry about the hoarse voice, Denise.
I'm sorry?
Sorry about my voice. It's early. I'm working on my first cup of coffee right now.
Oh, no worries. I get it. I understand. So drink that coffee.
He says first cup.
I get it. Trust me, brother. I get it. Mr. Wright, good morning. Thank you for your patience. You're live with DT and Telly. What is your question or comment? Or do you agree or disagree?
Hey, good morning. I'm kind of lost. I need help to understand this. So from my perspective in growing up, I see it as like the house nigga kind of being the one with more privileges, more money. The field nigga, to me, is kind of like the lower class people. So I guess that's where you put yourself into a tax bracket.
So we just going straight drop the N-word. That's what we doing. That's what we doing, Mr. Wright.
Let's put the O in the end, bro.
I don't know.
We got company.
You went all the way to the A. You didn't even put the R
Put the O on the end, brother. We got company. We got folks that don't look like us listening. See? All right. Let's start over, Mr. Wright.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And let's put the O at the end.
Okay, Negro.
Thank you so much.
I'm just trying to get an understanding. The difference. So is the house nigga or house Negro the rich one, or is because is the rich voting for Trump or is the poor voting for Trump? Because I'm trying to understand who vote is what. Like, I thought when you in a certain class, then you vote a certain way. That's how things go. From my understanding, what I know, my friends who feel like they have money or are in power, they gonna lean more to Trump. Us people who feel like we don't have a lot of money or we don't meet a certain tax bracket, then we gonna kind of lean the other way. So,
well, Mr. Wright, let me ask you a question. No, that's a good point and perspective. I've seen, and traditionally, to your point, And again, this is just a stereotype or maybe just a general view that black people who are registered or traditionally vote Republican are of a higher income tax bracket. So they like, look, the Republicans, they give better tax breaks than the Democratic Party. And then what I'm seeing with this particular presidential election campaign is I'm seeing black people who are middle class, working, blue collar, that support Trump. So I don't think at this particular point in the election, it's about class. It's about whoever they feel is going to, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, Truth Nation, 833-212-1017. Mr. Wright, thank you so much for your call. We appreciate you. And again, when it's me, you, and Telly, you could do the N word.
Hey.
But we on air, brother. What'd you say, Telly?
You got to put the O,
put
man.
The O on the end.
But I tell you what, though, Mr. Wright, he really made some great points and when I first heard that, I was just as confused as Mr. Wright was because, again, you typically would associate, wealthier wealthier black people to support Trump, and you would think the wealthier ones were the so-called house slaves and the ones that, had to get out there and get it out of the mud, literally, were the ones that weren't earning anything, and those were the ones that put their hopes and dreams in the Democratic Party. But this whole, I don't get that because, I just think that is such a lazy analogy. You can't think of any way else to describe Trump voters versus Harris voters. You got to go back to house slaves versus field slaves. To me, it absolutely makes zero sense.
I agree with you, Telly. And to further add to your point, before we take Al's call, we sometimes as black people that live in the current day, we got a lot of audacity to even talk about slavery. None of us who are alive right now, none of us as black people experienced or even witnessed the torment, the human sacrifice, the enslavement, the division. We've never, no one who is alive today has never experienced. So for us to be even speaking as if we know what slavery was like, we should be just praising the Most High that it was abolished. Now, in terms of mindset, which has nothing to do in particular with the election, I do believe a number of us are still walking around acting and behaving as if we still are slaves. That's how I feel about it. But as far as, speaking from a lens of, well, if you vote this way, you're a field Negro, and if you're voting this way, you're a house Negro. Negro, please, you don't even know what it's like to be a slave.
Exactly. Because trust me, there were no mental health days back then.
Come on, somebody.
Yeah, there was no, I'm not feeling that great, or
Yeah, you
have zero idea.
Unless you've been a slave, which anyone who can hear my voice now has never been a slave. Then let's remove that from our narrative. All right, Al, thank you so much for holding. You've been so patient. What is your question or comment? You're live with DT and Telly.
My comment is the House never educate their people because they always slept at the foot of the bed and ate master's crumbs. The one in the field created their own resources because he was never allowed in the House because the House was afraid of the field. So I think some of these people calling in got it confused. And what we're not going to do is play two powerful people against each other and talk radio, because at the end of the day, the one you were praising, they did not pass no bills and laws in his name. And that old wise saying, don't nothing come from eating humble pie and kissing ass. But my question for you, DT and Telly, is why is it the black people who vote for Trump, who's looking at him as a welfare and a check, see him as Jesus? And I hang up and listen.
Al, I can try and answer that because it is pretty amazing how he has been able to rally his base around these things that anyone who knows Donald Trump could care less about. Like when before he ran for president, he cared about people. Period. The low class, the middle class. And I had this conversation with my brother not too long ago because I was in Florida, and you see some of these Trump supporters, and these people look like they are on welfare. And I'm like, so y'all really think that he is for you all? And so it is pretty amazing to me, and I still don't know why so many Trump supporters put their faith in someone that is only going to look out for himself first and then his buddies and his rich buddies.
Well, I'll answer the question this way, Al. Great question, by the way. I'm in no position to even speculate on why. Because number one, and I've said it before, it's nobody's business who I'm going to vote for, and it's none of my business in terms of who our valued listeners are going to vote for. And I completely agree with Marcus, who on our Truth Talking text line, which is 833-212-1017, he says, bottom line, you should be able to vote for whoever you want to without childish name calling. I completely, 1,000% agree. Also, it is not for me to walk up to anyone and say, man, if you vote for blank, then you're an idiot, or you're this, or you're that. How can you? Because at the end of the day, here's what I'm still trying to process. The commander-in-chief, a.k.a. the President of the United States of America, a lot of the issues, especially as a Black American in this country, are going to have the most developments, impact, or change based on local and state legislation. That is a fact. Whoever wins, they have to go through the House and the Senate. And so we do this all the time, especially as Black folks. We put all this time and energy, and don't get me wrong. Yes, being the President of the United States of America, it is a very, very important, prominent position. But when we talk about, like, well, when Trump was in office, I had more money. Well, we said the same thing about Clinton.
Right.
And, when Barack Obama was in office, then after his 2 terms, well, he didn't do enough for Black people. It's like we ain't never satisfied. But do we show up and vote at the local and state level? Do we hold our local elected officials accountable? Like, it's like the presidential election is the best time for America, and while the whole world is watching, to show the rest of the world that we don't know how to act. We got to be so divided. We got to start name calling. I would have never thought, Telly, in the history of being Black, woman, 48 years old, however you want to call it, as a human being, I never thought that I would witness this much division during a presidential election. Because like I've said before, and I'll say it again, regardless of who wins, this country is going to have some significant, what's the word I want to say without, I don't care. I'll ruffle some feathers this morning. We're going to face some harsh realities regardless of who wins.
I was going to say, you can go as far as saying repercussions.
Thank you.
Yeah. There's going to be repercussions whoever wins.
Whoever wins.
Yeah.
And you know why? Because we as human beings in this country have allowed this presidential election, just like the previous one, to divide. I remember there was a time you don't even talk about who you're voting for.
Yeah.
But none of your business.
And some of these actions, DT, it is all being built up, and it's a lot of it like, well, this is just the way it's being done now. Even down to conceding. When Trump didn't concede to Biden, that was a big deal.
They had to get the big dogs involved.
Yeah, so if you can't even, because there used to be a way, no matter how much mudslinging went in a campaign, once that person won, then the other would concede and say, hey, we need to get behind them. This is our president now. But you have someone that's saying, hey, if you vote and if she's elected, we're in trouble. And we're not going to have people supporting her. And this is like, I mean, dude, if we're supposed to be the United States, yeah.
When we come back from break, we want to get more reactions from you. 833-212-1017. You're listening to the best morning show on planet Earth. Stay locked in, because I'm going to give some more of my thoughts. Because if I see one more first grader walking into school with a Make America Great hat on, really? 6 years old? Stay locked in.
Don't touch that dial. Truth Be Told with DT and Telly will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, it's your boy Tory Lowe, and I need to let you know the award-winning Tory Lowe Show can now be streamed live on YouTube every day from 1 to 4. I am now bringing all the smoke on YouTube every single weekday. I need you to go to YouTube right now and subscribe to 1017 The Truth and check out the award-winning Tory Lowe Show live every afternoon. Milwaukee Black Talk is now streaming live on YouTube. Now that's powerful.
This is your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute.
Reproductive justice is a framework, it's a movement, it's a vision for reproductive freedom, it's a right to have a child, it's a right to not have children, and this next part is really as important as the other parts. It's the right to birth and parent our children with dignity, and the right to live and parent our children in safe and healthy environments. So reproductive justice understands the ability of any person to control their destiny is directly related to the conditions of their communities. It looks at the intersections of discrimination in social, political, and economic systems, and it sheds light on the barriers that these systems produce. And then we, reproductive justice advocates, fight against the barriers that prevent Black people and other people of color from exercising their rights. That's reproductive justice.
This has been your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute.
Associated Bank knows your small business isn't just a venture. It's your dream and a vital part of the community. And we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We're looking out for you. That's why Associated Bank offers quick online applications and approvals with funding in as fast as one business day, checking with no minimum balances or maintenance fees, and prompt customer service. Explore our products at associatedbank.com/business or visit a branch for more details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The WIAA football playoffs is here. Tune in this Friday night as the #1 seeded Marquette Hilltoppers begin their quest for back-to-back state championship titles as they host the 8th seeded Milwaukee Marshall Eagles. The football action kicks off at 7 p.m. on 1017 The Truth. Marquette University High School football is presented by Gruber Law Offices and sponsored by Capital Insurance Agency, Magic Productions, Annex Wealth Management, C.G. Schmidt, Left's Lucky Town, Boyle Frederickson Intellectual Property Law, and Marquette University High School. You are listening to Truth Be Told with DT and Telly on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, our first Truth Summit is this Saturday, October 26th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the 3rd Street Market Hall. This exclusive in-person roundtable will examine the state of finances, education, and politics for Black Milwaukee. Dr. Ken Harris will be joined by expert guests for insights and a lively debate that you can't afford to miss. Reserve your spot for the Truth Summit by visiting 1017thetruth.com. That is 1017thetruth.com. The Truth Summit is sponsored by One Milwaukee because together we are One Milwaukee, and food provided by Shawnee's Exquisite Catering.
Also, Truth Nation, at Old National Bank, they know there's nothing small about keeping up a small business. That's why they've developed their empowerment loan program to help give people of color and women-owned businesses equal access to funds up to $5 million. This substantial commitment shows that Old National Bank truly believes that every small business deserves the opportunity to change their community in a big way. Learn more today by visiting oldnational.com/empowerment loan. Old National Bank, get old. All loans are subject to credit approval. Minimum loan amount, $25,000. Additional program qualifications or restrictions may apply. For full details, contact an Old National small business banker. If you're just tuning in, good morning, good morning. It is 8:20 a.m. Central Time, and it is the 21st day of October. Tomorrow, again, is early voting day in the state of Wisconsin. Please make sure, if you're having any angst about voting during the general election on November the 5th, please visit myvote.wi.gov to learn how you can place your in-person early or absentee vote in the state of Wisconsin tomorrow. So find that out. Now, speaking of the election, we've been talking about the Shelley Winter Show, Black conservative radio talk show host. Shelley Winter has a talk radio show based in Atlanta called The Shelley Winter Show. He was featured as a guest on CNN News Central with co-host Sarah Sidner. And they also had a guest, Michael Blake, who served as a former advisor to Barack Obama. Now, during this interview, he basically talks about that in terms of the black male voters in the U.S., you either a House African-American or a field African-American based on how you're voting. Now, if you're voting Democrat or for Madam Vice President, according to Shelley Winter, you're a House Negro. If you are voting for former President Donald Trump, you are a field Negro. Now, for those that aren't familiar, during enslavement in the United States, house slaves worked in the main house or the slave master's house and typically performed what was known as the indoor tasks. The field slaves were the ones that worked the hard labor, I'm doing the air quotes, the hard labor on the land and lived in decimated quarters. Basically, the living conditions were terrible if you were a field slave. So according to Shelley Winter, as he appeared on CNN News Central, referenced a quote from Malcolm X, which I thought, why you laugh?
You know why I'm laughing. So, Malcolm X, but I'm voting for Donald Trump. But yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense.
He says, Telly, quote, and this is Shelley Winter, let me boil this election down in the African-American community to a very simple, and then he says, I'll reference the great Malcolm X. The race is between House African-Americans and field African-Americans, and field African-Americans are voting for Trump. 833-212-1017.
Sounds like something Clarence Bigsby would say. You know who Clarence Bigsby is?
I ain't met too many black people named Clarence I like anyway. So
okay.
Clarence Thomas, Clarence Bigsby.
That was Dave Chappelle's character when he was the black white supremacist.
Now, on our YouTube message board, you can stream and watch Telly and I live right now by simply going to YouTube and searching for 101.7 The Truth, and then click on the live button. And you can see Telly and I live. You can engage with other listeners. And one of our listeners on the YouTube message board, Howard, says, I believe what he was trying to say. Now, see, Howard, that's when what had happened was what I believe he was trying to say. See, in the world of journalism, you said what you said. There wasn't no trying to say. No. But Howard says, I believe what he was trying to say is some black people have what is called a slave mentality. When you want to leave or advance, there were some blacks who didn't see better. I'm just saying. All I know is this. That man is a conservative talk radio. Let me not even say conservative. That grown man is a professional talk radio host who has his own show, who was featured on CNN News Central. He wasn't trying to say nothing. Yeah. He said exactly what he meant to say. He didn't stutter. He didn't do none of that. So, Howard, when you say, I believe what he would know, he said that if you are voting for Madam Vice President Kamala Harris, you are a House Negro. If you vote for Trump, you are a field Negro. He wasn't trying to say it, Howard. He said it.
Yeah, he did. And I'm sure if he has his own show,
man,
he knows.
He knows better.
He knows what he's saying. And to me, if he truly believes that, then more power to you. But in my opinion, this is a great way for Mr. Winters to get some attention. B, he knew a statement like that would ruffle some feathers. And because, again, I think that's a lazy analogy to try and decipher the difference between Trump voters and Harris voters by comparing them to field slaves versus house slaves. And I mean, again, I'm still trying to find the correlation, but It's so. I'm a loss for words because I'm so confused by it because I don't understand it.
We're referencing slavery and incorporating that as part of this presidential election when, first of all, enslaved black people in this country were so far removed from the government election process to begin with. And when Malcolm X would describe the difference between the house Negro and the field Negro, I never heard him make it about during a presidential election.
No, it was
this was about being a black person in this country, day to day. Yeah. On our Truth Talking text line, the caller says the short soundbite from Malcolm X actually describes the behavior of people who Brother Al described. Folks who love a white man who leads a Confederate movement but hate the idea of a strong, qualified black woman leading our nation forward.
And DT, listen to the irony of this. You're comparing this to slavery, and you admit that you're going to vote for someone who wants to eliminate the study of slavery or support someone who said slavery was beneficial.
I'm so glad you brought that up. DJ Ricky, we still got that audio about Trump. So while we're getting this audio, man, great segue, Telly. And so Telly had shared this with us. Now, former President Donald Trump was featured on the Fox network show Fox and Friends, which is one of their highest viewed segments on Fox News channel. Which, by the way, what's the brother's name that's on this?
I don't.
I reluctantly say, well, we're going to find out his name because we're going to play this soundbite where Trump, again, is on as a guest. This was just last week. Fox News, Fox and Friends show. And he talks about the abolishment, how he, under his leadership, his words, not mine, y'all. Check this out. Will abolish the Department of Education, which obviously, if you don't know, the Department of Education in this country supports our nation's public schools as well as the schools that incorporate as part of American history, Black history. Check this out. President Donald Trump, former President Donald Trump, on Fox and Friends, talking about how he will abolish the Department of Education.
I'm going to take the Department of Education, close it. I'm going to close it. We'll have one person, could be you if you decide to retire.
Okay, Mr. President, here's what bothers me about that. So let's say you have a liberal city, let's Los Angeles, San Diego, and they just decide we're going to get rid of that history. We got new history. This is America built off the backs of slaves on stolen land. And that curriculum comes in.
Then we don't send them money. We would save half of our budget.
Okay. All right, stop right there, Ricky. Dear Black Trump supporters, what is your reaction?
It's definitely a no for me, dog.
This is the point where we're going to hear what he was trying to say.
What he was trying to say.
Yeah.
Now, if you are not familiar with the Fox News Channel's Fox and Friends show, there is a brother who is part of, I guess for lack of better words, the team. His name is Lawrence Jones, and he's one of the co-hosts of Fox News Channel, Fox and Friends. Now, I watched it. I watched the actual broadcast when you sent me the link, Telly. And the whole time, President Trump is talking about, you start talking about Black history, you start talking about slaves in the American history, no money for you.
Yeah.
You got a whole black man sitting on the couch. And he didn't flinch.
Say nothing.
He ain't say a word. He ain't flinch. He ain't say a word. He moved. His eyebrow, y'all, didn't even you know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't even do. And I thought, which, by the way, when the RNC was here in Milwaukee, I saw him. The Republicans love him. Now, see, this would be, for me, Truth Nation, and I don't talk about this a lot, But this, to me, is where you would start talking about house versus field. Because when he came in the Pfister lobby, oh, my God, Laura. And then what I saw, where he stood there and let a white man, a white person, tell him on his show that
you ain't getting no money if we talk about your ancestors.
You want to talk about house versus field?
But if you vote for him,
well,
you're a house Negro.
Exactly.
Come on.
I think we have a Trump supporter, a black Trump supporter, on our Truth Talk and text line. I believe so. So, Brian, please hold. When we come back from break, we're going to right into your reaction, thoughts, or perspective. And you also can let us know how you feel. 833-212-1017. Is this whole division between black people, whether you're voting for Trump or whether you're voting for Harris, is it getting tired? Are we tired of hearing all this division about in terms of you're black and you vote this way, you're not this or you're that? 833-212-1017. You're listening to the best morning show on planet Earth, Truth Be Told, with DT and Telly. We'll be back.
Don't touch that dial. Truth Be Told with DT and Telly will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Milwaukee Health Services Incorporated is celebrating 35 years of serving all income and medically underserved populations of Milwaukee's metropolitan area. MHSI is a one-stop shop that provides medical, radiology, dental, pediatric, behavioral health, pharmacies with affordable medications, and more. Also, MHSI's new family medicine residency program, located at the Isaac Cogg's Heritage Health Center, has brought 28 family doctors to our area, which is significantly impacted by healthcare workforce shortages. Become a new patient today. To schedule an appointment, call 414-372-8080. Your health is their business. What's up, Troop Nation? It's your girl, Noni Juice, here for my friends at Steinhafels. And guess what? Steinhafels has everything you need to get your home ready for the holidays. Elegant dining sets, perfect for hosting family dinners, cozy bedrooms to relax and recharge after celebrations, and fireplaces to warm those cold winter nights. Plus, with Steinhafels' 18-month financing, getting your home ready for the holidays has never been easier. Steinhafels, helping you make the holidays special. Shop in-store or online at Steinhafels.com.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the new 1017 The Truth. Here is Telly Hughes with his truth.
I want to stress the importance of a positive mindset. Everything begins as a thought before it ever becomes an action. So it's extremely important to purposely place yourself in positive spaces to help shape and nurture those thoughts. I know you're probably thinking, okay, Telly, let's be realistic. Look, I get it. You may work with people with bad energy, or you may even be related to people who are negative by nature. In this journey called life, there will be many things that come your way that's out of your control. But what you can control is how you respond. Understand this. You have the right to either tap in or tap out of whatever energy that may come your way. And that's how you can control and protect your positive spaces. The mind is where it all starts. And if your thoughts are centered around positivity, you'll see how things begin to transform. You'll see a noticeable difference between things happening for you versus things always happening to you. You begin to grow through situations as opposed to just going through tough situations. Make it a priority to surround yourself with positive people and create those positive spaces and begin to experience the fruits of what a positive mindset can produce. Trust me, it takes work to creating these spaces, and you have to be intentional about it. And I'm committed to putting in the work because I'm living proof that it's well worth the peace a positive mindset brings.
This has been Truth Takes on the new 1017 The Truth. Listen to Truth Be Told with DT and Telly weekdays from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Southbound on 43, we do have backups now coming in from Silver Spring down to Capitol Drive. Southbound 41 has eased up nicely. We do have some delays around the North Avenue curve to about Mayfair Road. Eastbound 94 slowing from 76th Street all the way through the stadium. The westbound side is going to be a bit backed up right through the stadium interchange as well. And then you're also seeing delays from about Sunny Slope Road all the way through the Moreland Road area. Then after that, you're good to go all the way in towards Waukesha. We've got eastbound 894 backing up out of the Hale, but just to about Forest Home is where it starts to let up a little bit. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, mostly sunny, very warm, breezy, a high of 78. Tonight, partly cloudy, mild with a low of 56. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 101.7 The Truth.
You are listening to Truth Be Told with DT and Telly on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
What's going on, Truth Nation? Man, y'all are not playing today, Telly.
Yeah. They bringing it.
They bringing it. Our Truth Talking text line is on fire. 833-212-1017. We've been dissecting an interview that took place between a black conservative talk radio host by the name of Shelley Winter. He's got a show known as Shelley Winter, the Shelley Winter Show, which is broadcasted in Atlanta. And he was invited, just like our very own Sherwin Hughes has been invited and featured on CNN a number of times. Shelley Winter was invited as well and made some comments that basically said, and I'm going to quote what he said, "Let me boil this election down in the African-American community to a very simple. I'll reference the great Malcolm X. This race is between House African Americans and field African Americans. And field African Americans are voting for Donald Trump." Now, again, dear non-black people that are trying to understand what this means, during the enslavement in the U.S., house slaves were known as those who worked in the main house or the slave master's house and performed indoor tasks. Field slaves were the slaves that worked hard labor outside on the land and lived in decimated quarters. Good morning, Brian. Thank you for your patience. You were live with DT and Telly. Do you agree or disagree?
Well, first of all, I'm going to address the Donald Trump Department of Department of Education. In the words of the greatest black researcher, Brother Steve Coakley, check. That means so what? If he's not going to fund schools, that's a good thing. Because our schools at the present day, the only thing they promote is whack jobness. They promote alphabet agendas. They promote Adam playing on the same basketball team as Little Susie. So if he's going to defend that kind of stuff, I wouldn't care.
Okay, so Brian, let me make sure I understand you correctly.
Don't educate. Our schools do not educate. They push agendas. So for anybody to defund people that are not educating our children in the first place, I say salute to them.
Let me ask you a question,
Salute
Brian. Do you believe that the police department in this country should be defunded? If there's a number of people
yes, certain whack job police administrations definitely should be defunded. Definitely.
But you know that Trump wants to give them full immunity. You know that, right?
He's off the beam on that.
Oh, okay.
And we would vote against something like that.
Okay.
He needs more information. He needs to see Trump if he gets elected, you can get to Trump and correct the error of his ways. But if you put a Democrat in office, you cannot correct their overall agenda. You cannot you can't show them what's right and wrong and say what you're doing is wrong, because they're on something else. They're not into common sense anymore. They're into two things: climate change and people having different personal sexual lifestyles. That's all they're into, period.
Okay. Well, Brian, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and perspective as always. GNAB, you are live with DT and Telly. What is your question or comment? And do you agree with the reference of race between house Negroes and field Negroes based on how we are voting during this presidential election?
Good morning, DT and Telly. First of all, I just wanted to start off by saying that it's boggling my mind that we even have to talk about slavery this day and age. What bothers me is I'm having a hard time wrapping my mind around the fact that people actually literally is considering going into these polls, voting for a felon. I refuse to vote for someone who has a record that I don't have. That makes no sense. But another thing that boggles my mind is that he wants to come back in as a felon who wants to be a dictator. As a president dictator, is that something that he can do? Can he bring back slavery? Because if he can, this is something that the American people need to know. Because I've never been through slavery. I've heard the stories. I do not want to live that life at all. I feel like a vote for Trump is a vote for slavery. I would like to know that if he was elected back into office, do you think that there would be a truth nation? Do you think he would take these black programmers away? I would like to know y'all comments about that. Thank y'all for taking my call.
I'll start off with that. I think any and everything is on the table if he gets back in office. And the people that he has, in my opinion, idolized, other dictators such as Putin and Kim Jong-un and things of that nature. When you look at Russia, everything is controlled by the government. Their television, their radio, everything that is put out there is all a part of one propaganda. And as much as he has called everything fake news, I wouldn't put it past him if he just tried to make one network and that'd be Fox News. I truly wouldn't put it past him.
Well, let's hear what Sherman has to say, Telly. Good morning, Sherman. You are live with DT and Telly. What is your question or comment?
Hey, how y'all doing this morning? This is a question for one of your callers just said. He said Donald Trump can be corrected. Simple question. Can anybody name any time Trump ever apologized for anything? The second question is this. This is serious. Who in their right mind will vote for a person who said he's never had to ask God for forgiveness because he's done everything right?
He said
who in their right mind? Who in their right mind? Just let me know that.
Trump said that? Sherman?
Yes, I'm listening.
He said that?
Yeah, he said that. The other thing is,
wow.
As far as the Department of Education, he wants to dismantle the Department of Education because if you keep a person dumb, trust me, I can tell you some stories about when I was in the street life. I knew some people. If you kept them dumb, they'll stay dumb. I somewhat blame us as black folks about this as far as Donald Trump and how he got this far in life is because us as black folks, we refuse to read. It's not. We can't sit in here and depend on the educational system to correct us because we know people that know all about LeBron James, T.I., the rapper, Prince, Michael Jackson. They can give you the rundown of the history from the time they put on their first pamphlet to the time they died. You ask them about Frederick Douglass, Sojourner Truth, or Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and all the other people. They don't know anything.
Sherman,
all that's old news and all the rest of that stuff.
Sherman, let me ask you a question. Sherman, where have you been all my life? I needed you in my life since I've been like 5. I love you. I freaking love you. Because here's the thing. We're putting all, and my mama used to always tell me this as a child. You put all your faith in man, in human beings. And it's like you said, if you, and here's the thing, DJ Ricky played the audio, Sherman. I'm with you. We didn't tell you, we didn't make up nothing. We literally played the audio and heard a human being say that they will, matter of fact, Ricky, and thank you so much for your call, Sherman. Can we play, are we ready? Can we play the Donald Trump audio again about education? Okay, so while we're waiting on that, Telly, like Sherman said, if someone is even considering eliminating the Department of Education, The underlying tone is, as long as you are educated, you have what? Power.
Yes.
The first thing they told us as slaves is if you even think about learning how to read, that's it.
Yeah.
We're killing you. Now, okay, here we go. Listen to this audio. This is not me and Telly making anything up. This is not our opinions.
It ain't AI.
It ain't AI. This was, thank you, Telly. This is former President Donald Trump featured as a guest on Fox News Channel, Fox and Friends Morning Show, which, by the way, a brother, Lawrence Jones, who's the co-host, was sitting on the couch while he was saying all this. Roll this audio, please. Check this out.
We're going to take the Department of Education, close it. I'm going to close it. We'll have one person, could be you if you decide to retire.
Okay, Mr. President, here's what bothers
central casting.
Here's what bothers me about that. So let's say you have a liberal city, let's Los Angeles, San Diego, and they just decide we're going to get rid of that history. We got new history. This is America built off the backs of slaves on stolen land. And that curriculum comes in.
Then we don't send them money.
Wow. Stop right there. Wow. Wow. Marlon, thank you for holding. I'm going to let you talk because I'm about to say something that's going to get me in trouble. Marlon, you are live with DT and Telly. What is your question or comment?
Yeah, this whole thing about Donald Trump is really upsetting me, and I don't understand how people are continuing to say they're going to vote for this guy. If you vote for Donald Trump, you do not believe in democracy. If you vote for Donald Trump, you don't believe in these things. This guy is consistently telling you what he's going to do, and in the past he has done it. So if somebody shows you who they are, believe who they are, right? He's saying that he's gonna get rid of the Department of Education. He talked about getting rid of the Constitution. He talked about getting rid of the social service, the FBI, but the Department of Justice. Excuse me. But all this stuff is stuff that is democracy, which makes America who they are. You know what I mean? I keep getting tired of hearing all these people, well, I'm going to vote for this. I'm going to vote for him because he put money in our pocket. Technically, he didn't put money in our pocket. The Congress at that time did. A Democratic Congress, he just put his name on the checks. The other part that everybody, when you have all these people, and when you know how us as black people get down, if I'm rocking with you, right, and you don't rock with somebody else, I probably ain't going to rock with that other person. All these people who work
that's how
with
it should
Donald Trump are saying, yeah, but I'm saying all these people who work with Donald Trump are coming out saying that he's a tyrant. He's not good for America. He's one of the worst things. And even though they're going to still, it's crazy, and we still listen to these people, and we still going to say we're going to vote for him. He has no intentions to help the black community. He has no intentions to help us as black people. He has no intentions to do anything for us. He's just trying to get our vote. We talk about how everybody gets mad, these Democratic people come to our churches and stuff. He's doing the exact same thing.
Well, Marlon,
but you don't hear nobody talking about him doing it. Yeah.
No, thank you so much. Again, and it's the passion that I can hear through the air. Trust me, I'm with you, and this is why I don't like even sharing who I'm voting for, because nowadays it's just a further perpetuation of division. Now, before we go to break, now Telly, I didn't said this before to you off air. I think I've even said it on air, and I know it ruffles feathers, but I'm going to say it again. And I don't want anybody to say, I didn't tell you so. You can go to the website, usa.gov right now. Mm-hmm. And you can apply for dual citizenship. Y'all think I'm playing? Look, I'm not telling you what to do. I don't have any authority or right to even tell you. And this is a DT opinion. What does Sherwin's show intro say? This does not reflect the views of Good Karma Brands. I'm telling you as DT. November 6th, USA.gov/dual citizenship. I'm going to leave it at that. Mm-hmm. And Telly, I've said this off the air. I'm not playing. I like breathing. I like winning. I like thriving. I have worked too hard as an American. And I think one of our listeners was like, well, America is still the greatest country on earth. USA.gov, dual citizenship. That's all I'm going to say. Just go to that website and just read it. Just read it. Mm-hmm. Dual citizenship. It's something that you may want to consider. And it means that you're not going to give up your citizenship of the United States, but you'll be able to have all the rights and privileges of being a citizen at the same time of a different country. That's all I'm going to say. I'm done with it. USA.gov/dual-citizenship. You're listening to the best morning show on planet Earth. When we come back, we're going to get into our truth. I think I just already gave my truth of the matter. Dual citizenship. Whether you're an American or not, if you have U.S. citizenship, you can be a citizen of another country. We'll be back.
Don't touch that dial. Truth Be Told with DT and Telly will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
November 5th, 2024 will prove to be the most consequential election in U.S. history. Join me on Monday, October 21st, as I have the exclusive interview with Democratic Minority Leader in the House of Representatives, Hakeem Jeffries. We'll talk policy, we'll talk the presidential race, we'll also talk about the history-making endeavor it will be to have the first African-American Speaker of the House of Representatives. Don't miss my exclusive interview with Democratic Minority Leader in the House of Representatives, Hakeem Jeffries, on Monday, October 21st, only on 1017 The Truth.
Are record energy costs putting a squeeze on your fixed or limited incomes? With limited incomes not keeping up with the lingering effects of inflation, you might be one of tens of thousands of Wisconsin residents who are struggling to survive in the blistering heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter. While you haven't asked for it, the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy assistance providers are here to help. No Wisconsin resident should ever have to face the challenge of living without heat or power or face homelessness. For a hand up, apply today and call 1-800-506-5596. That's 800-506-5596. Or visit www.kwwf.org.
Associated Bank knows your small business isn't just a venture. It's your dream and a vital part of the community. And we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We're looking out for you. That's why Associated Bank offers quick online applications and approvals with funding in as fast as one business day, checking with no minimum balances or maintenance fees, and prompt customer service. Explore our products at associatedbank.com/business or visit a branch for more details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Sharon needed legal help. She needed Gruber Law Offices.
When I think about Gruber Law Office, I think about how they took care of me, how they make sure that you get what you're supposed to get. Gruber Law Office. One call, that's all. I will always trust one call, that's all.
Injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
They are the best. I'm very happy.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
You are listening to Truth Be Told with DT and Telly on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I love how on our YouTube message board, DVJ, thank you for the reminder. There's not going to be just one, but two Monday Night Football games. So DVJ was like, in other news, it's going to be two Monday Night Football games tonight. So we've got, 8 p.m. or 7 p.m., Ravens at Bucks. Or you can watch at 8, the Chargers at Cardinals. Thank you so much, DVJ. That's my truth of the matter. Monday Night Football. Yeah. 2 games tonight.
My truth of the matter, our last caller said it best, and it was something that my mom told me a long time ago. If someone shows you who they are, believe them. And Donald Trump has shown us who he was when he was in office, and he is telling you what he's going to do if he gets back in office. So don't be caught in this web of, believing what he's going to say, and then if he gets back in office, you're left with empty and unfulfilled promises. So, again, let's look at the first term. Did he do what he said he was going to do for you? That is my truth of the matter.
Great truth of the matter. Thank y'all so much, Truth Nation. We hope we got your Monday morning started off right. And speaking of your Monday morning, up next, you've got 9 more live consecutive hours of Milwaukee Black Talk Radio with our brother, Sherwin Hughes. Stay locked in. Lord willing, Telly and I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Make it a great day, and tell somebody you love them.
Peace out.
Don't touch that dial. Truth Be Told with DT and Telly will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.